Hello and welcome back to Before You Summon. Before we start, I want to address and also apologize for all the mistakes I've been making in the latest videos. These mistakes have been both major and minor, and I do really want to apologize for making such mistakes. After all, I've started this show to give you guys a reliable source of information about the events in Project Sekai and how they are structured and what will happen during them. Making these kinds of mistakes are kind of a blow to my credibility, and that's why I want to address them. To put it into perspective, I am totally alone in doing this project. I am the one who researches all the information, compiles it, records these videos, edits them, and then publishes them and reads all of your comments. Meaning that mistakes will happen and I will never be able to eliminate mistakes fully. I am sure other informative or guide-like channels also make mistakes, but I am hoping to lower the amount of mistakes or try to keep them at a minimum. I am currently both working full-time and going full-time to school while trying to keep up with this publishing schedule. This is not me trying to push the blame onto something else, but I do want to put into context how my life currently looks as I'm recording this. I will really try to not make more big mistakes and especially try to minimize the small mistakes, and that's why I'm here to apologize and again make light of the said mistakes, because I think that it's important to acknowledge that I've made mistakes so that you guys can have faith in that I am trying my best. I have acknowledged a few of you pointing out my mistakes in the comments, but if you're going to point out my mistake and it's not something that I can simply check up, please leave a link to a YouTube video or a website where I can read about said information. I cannot make changes to the videos after they are posted, and I think that my viewer count and also interaction will tank if I were to remove a video and change something, but I will pin comments that do correct me or add it into the description as a note at top. But in your comment you have to leave a link to a credible source such as the official Twitter, the official blog, or the official YouTube, so I actually know that the information is not a leak. Leakers can be credible, but I cannot use leaked information as if it would be official one. Hence, I can never give you the correct when it comes to information that is either leaked or speculation. But if you have official sources, be a clip, an announcement, or a blog post, please post it in the comments and I will pin it and acknowledge that yes, I did make a mistake. I really do hope that this does not taint your view of the channel and me as a credible source of information when it comes to the Project Sekai events. If this did not change your view of the channel, or if you're still enjoying the content, I would please request that you subscribe so you can see my evolution when it comes to making Before You Summon and my new series monthly preview. Subscribing is as always free, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you think that I am no longer credible or that I'm not keeping the standard I have set for myself, you can always unsubscribe later. But with that, let's get into the next event, being Kick It Up a Notch. Kick It Up a Notch will start February 19th and will end February 27th. This is a marathon event, meaning that all of the cards in the gacha are permanent and will enter the standard gacha pool. The focus unit is Vivid Bad Squad and the attribute is once again Happy. The focus characters, because of this being a unit focused event, are therefore Kohane, Anne, Akito, Toya, and once again, we have Vivid Bad Squad Luca as the virtual singer. Getting straight into the cards with a 50% bonus, I once again have to say that this card selection is weird and almost good, but just missing the mark. As always, because this is a unit-focused event, all of the virtual singers with the Vivid Bad Squad tag are available to give the 50% bonus, or if they are the correct attribute with the virtual singer tag, they are available to give the 40% bonus. The 3 event cards from the gacha with a 70% bonus are as follows: Kohane with After the Climax, Anne with looking up at the scenery, and Akito with strategy meeting and cheesecake. As for cards with a 50% bonus, we start off with a 1 star in the form of Akito. We have 5 available 2 stars, being the original Toya and the original Maiko, the Anne from A Song of Vows for You dressed in pure white, the Kohane from Wishing for Your Happiness Upon the Blue Sky, and finally the Akito from Walk On and On. We have 4 available 3 stars, being the original Akito and the original Vivid Bad Squad Len, the Toya from the event Someday with our lyrics joined back to back, and finally the Kohane from Vivid Old Tale. As for 4-star cards, we have 9 available options, 4 of which are limited. The limited cards in question are the Akito and Anne, and subsequently the Kaito from the Stray Bad Dogs event. We also have the Toya and the Len from 1.5 anniversary, Toya being a colorful festival card, while Len was a gacha focus card from the Cherry Blossom Across Sekai event. As for permanent cards, we have Kohane from Funny Buddy Spend Time, and Akito, Toya and Luca from Vivid Bad Squad's most recent event, Break the Chain. Finally, we have a single happy birthday card, being Kohane's first year card. As for cards with a 40% bonus, it looks exactly the same as it did the last event. We have the 1-star Len, the Sleeping Princess 2-star from the 7 Deadly Sins login gacha. We have the Servant of Sin Len card. We have the Happy Anniversary card for Miku and Luca from the first year, and the Happy Anniversary card for Len from the second year. And while looking at this image, you might think, damn, this event really looks okay. Maybe I will be able to build a good team. I have to slow you down. The 2-star Akito is not yet available in gachas. It will join the gachas with Space Colony, which is a gacha like 2 or 3 gachas from now. And the 3-star Kohane just joined the gacha pool with the last event. This means that if you did not play Vivid Old Tale, which was an event in July last year, and you did not summon from the last gacha, being a more jump focused gacha, you have had no chance of getting this Kohane card. This means that Kohane only has a 2-star and a 4-star that comes from a permanent event in November of 2021, which has not rerun as a focus character, meaning you have to have picked it up either from the exchange shop or just getting lucky and hitting it during your other summon. Of course, it's not impossible that you've hit it during other summons, but it's also very unlikely. And for people with the Kohane birthday cards, you're most likely a Vivid Bad Squad fan, much bigger than most people, meaning that you're most likely more in the green when it comes to options overall. But more jarringly, which should be easily cited, is that Anne only has 2 options, one of which being a 2-star, the other one being a limited 4-star that is older than time. Stray Bad Dogs is one of the oldest limited gachas, and it's both visible in their quality and in their availability. Of course, this is alleviated with there being a few different virtual singers to pick from, such as the 2-star Maiko, and also a 3-star Len, a 4-star Len if you have the limited one, and a 4-star Kaito, which is permanent even if he came from a limited gacha first. This means that you can at least alleviate the missing Anne, but it's still very weird that Anne still doesn't have a 3-star or a permanent 4-star in the happy attribute. It's also worth noting that 5 permanent 4-stars sounds like a kinda good deal, but then you actually look at it and 3 of those 5 come from the last Vivid Bad Squad focused event that ran just a few months ago. Meaning that if you have not summoned in like the last 3 months, or you're someone who saves for a really long time for a very specific gacha, you have not had a chance to pick up any of these 3 cards. That means that if we were not to count these 3, we would only have 2 available permanent 4-stars, which is a dire situation. Like I said at the first, these are one of these events that you take a first glance at and say, yeah, this looks pretty okay, and then you start looking into it and digging into the cards and you remember, oh no, oh no, this is another one of these events. I do hope that most people can at least make an event team with a 250% bonus, even if it means using maybe 1 or 2 2-star cards. But hopefully most people have been able to either pick up the permanent Kaito or the permanent Kohane that has been in the gacha pool for a long time, which is able to alleviate the team pressure. Still, this event is very in the event building aspect, and I do really see how people could have a lot of issues getting a 250% bonus, especially if they're a semi-new player who hasn't summoned a lot yet. But I complain about the 50% bonus cards way too often, so let's wrap it up and move over to if any of the focus cards have had a 50% bonus in a future event. And this section will be rather short this time around, as only one of the 3 cards have ever seen use, and it will only see use once. The card that we'll see use is Anne's card during the event in the corner of this resonant town, or as most people will recognize it, 2.5 anniversary. In the corner of a resonant town is a limited mixed event in the happy attribute that will run from March 30th to April 9th, and is a part of the event cast for this event, being Shiho, Anne, Ina, and Miku, meaning that she will be available with a 70% bonus from this event if you do summon from it. It is also worth noting that 2.5 anniversary of course has a colorful festival tied to it, meaning that there will be a short window with a gacha that has a 6% gacha rate instead of the standard 3%, meaning that the Anne from this event will be rather much easier to pick up than a normal card. Being a limited card also, she does have slightly higher value than the permanent Kick It Up a Notch card, because she will only run once, disappear, and then reappear once at the end of the year before disappearing again until God knows when. In the corner of a resonant town is of course a little over a month away, so get your gems ready for this event, seeing as it is a colorful festival. But this is the only event where one of these 3 cards is used, Akito and Kohane, as far as we can currently see, being without any other events to be used in. With that, we can move on to the card and costume showcase. But with that, we get to the final question of the hour. Should you summon from the Kick It Up a Notch event? The answer is always yes. If these cards make you happy, they are your favorite cards, or they are just cards you really want, you should of course spend your gems on whatever makes you the happiest and feels best for you. But I personally don't think that you should summon from this event. And there's a few reasons that I don't think you should summon from this event, but of course, do not listen to me if you're already certain that you are going to summon from this event. I am again not trying to persuade anyone who are sure about their choice in summoning from this event from doing so. I'm only here to help the people who are on the fence or are unsure or considering summoning from this gacha. There are a few things to point out about this event. For one, none of the cards have seen use after the fact. The Unsure is another permanent happy card for her, so her roster for happy events looks a little better, but she's legit getting another one in like a month that is limited and looks super pretty. And while on that topic, in the corner of a resonant town is the 2.5 anniversary. It is a colorful festival, it is limited cards, it's a pretty value event to summon from. This event also kind of feels like filler. It feels like the costumes are rather uninspired and maybe not the best costumes for these characters. I will say though that the trained card art is amazing, and I think that it's one of the better sets released during year 3 when it comes to trained card art. Also, there's a few limited options coming up for Kohane and an Akito. Like we already said, Anne is available in the 2.5 anniversary with the card An Encounter While Going on Errands, where she's also part of a colorful festival, meaning that she's available to summon with the 6% gacha drop rate. We also have Kohane and Akito showing up together during Pandemonium, since we keep mentioning Pandemonium. Pandemonium will show up during the next gacha too, so don't worry, we are not done with Pandemonium. But Kaleidoscope Footprints for Kohane and the Thirsty Wanderer for Akito are colorful festival cards, meaning that they are not part of the Pandemonium event. Instead, they are limited to the 6% gacha rate colorful festival that will run alongside Pandemonium. These are of course very limited cards in a sense, since we have not had a colorful festival rerun in the sense that you will see the cards again, except for the 1.5 anniversary and the 2nd anniversary reruns, where the colorful festival cards showed back up. And then Kohane and Akito will of course join the standard colorful festival roster, meaning that they are a part of every colorful festival but not with a rate up, and trying to snipe one of those is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Don't expect to ever get a colorful festival card after it has vanished if you are not picking it for the Dream Pick gacha that will run during the 3rd year anniversary. But the 3rd year anniversary does not have this Akito or Kohane in the roster. You would have to wait to 4th year anniversary for those to show up. But moving on from Kohane and Akito, Akito does actually have a 2nd limited card that will release during the event Best Picture Wrap, and the card is called The Resolve to Act to the Fullest. Best Picture Wrap, like we mentioned last time, will release the 30th of November this year. And finally, we cannot forget the latest released limited cards for the Valentine's 2024 event Take the Best Shot, including Kohane. Of course, this Kohane will release January 30th, 2025 for us on the EN side. And while we're on the topic of limited cards becoming available again, the Akito from the first White Day event will of course rerun in March. The 2nd year Wedding Anne will rerun in July, just before Pandemonium. The 2nd anniversary Akito will rerun in September this year. And finally, the Spooky Wolf Forest Kohane will rerun in November of this year. The final rerun cards that we will see is Anne from Lion Dance that will rerun in January of 2025, which is quite a way off. So there are a lot of options for limited cards and interesting gachas to summon from when it comes to the Vivid Bad Squad gang, and I think wasting your gems on a gacha you're on the fence about if you're not 100% sure you want to summon from Kick It Up a Notch is a really poor choice. Especially with Never Give Up Cooking being the next event, who has Kaito, Toya and Rui, and the event after that being in the corner of a resonant town when it comes to limited events, of course. So I think that if you're on the fence, spending your gems on this gacha is a really poor decision, as I think that there are a lot of gachas that might hit harder for you, especially in the limited category. But if you are 100% sure, I really hope that your luck is good and that you get the cards you want from the Kick It Up a Notch event. Also, if you are 100% sure you are summoning from this event, please in the comments tell me why you are summoning from this event. Why is it a good set? Why am I incorrect in thinking that this is kind of a filler set? Or if you agree with me, please in the comments tell me your opinions on this set or which set you are going for when you're going to summon. Again, I love reading all of your comments, even if I don't always reply. I try to keep up as much as possible, but the comments have been an overwhelming amount the last few times, which makes me super happy. Please keep interacting with me. I really love to talk to you guys. While you're down there leaving a comment, please, if you could, subscribe once again, ring the bell, leave a like, and maybe if you have a friend who needs a guide, share this with them. But with that, I think we're done for now. I'm not gonna hold you here any longer. Let's get out of here for the week.